Welcome back to The Price of Business. I'm your host, Kevin Price, talking to you about you and your business. Spending some good time with my friend, Lance Malone, my good buddy, and going to talk a little bit about a company up there that he works with Standard Supply. Standard Supply, they are awesome at what they do, and have been doing it now since the 1940s. I think you by now know what you're doing. Since 1946, helping businesses help customers have the best in terms of home comfort through air conditioning, heating, and other technology. As always, welcome to the program, Lance.
Hey, thanks a lot, Kevin. It's great to be here again today. Wanted to let your listeners know they can find out more about Standard Supply at ssdhvac.com. That's ssdhvac.com. And as you said, since 1946, we've been helping the best contractors in Texas take care of their customers by providing the products they need for heating, air conditioning, refrigeration, and ventilation. And today, I'm happy to have my good friend and customer, Jeff Stewart, with me. Jeff is the Vice President and General Manager at Reliant Air Conditioning in Irving, Texas. You can learn more about them at reliantairconditioning.com. And, Jeff, I was wondering if you'd tell us a little bit about your background and then tell us some about Reliant Air Conditioning.
Absolutely. Well, thanks for having me, Lance. We're a family-owned and operated business. My father-in-law started the business back in 1983. My wife runs the business with me. She's a CPA. She's a graduate of Baylor University, and she acts as our CFO. But we specialize in residential new construction and residential service and replacement. We service the entire DFW Metroplex. Myself, I'm a graduate of Texas A&M University. Been with the business for about 8 years now. Started at the very bottom doing installations for a very hot summer, then kind of worked my way through virtually every position in the company to where I am now. So I've got an information systems degree from A&M, so I was a business analyst for a few years out of college. So I've really been able to use that background to kind of push our company forward as far as technology and business processes go. But it's been a great ride. Never would have imagined myself in the air conditioning business, but here I am, and I wouldn't have it any other way.
Jeff, I was looking at your website. By the way, it's reliantairconditioning.com, reliantairconditioning.com. Got to tell you, for an industry that's kind of a little on the drab side, you sure have made it kind of colorful. Your site, very cutting edge and extremely user-friendly. I just want to give you props for that.
Well, thank you very much. Yeah, we kind of brought a new flair to the industry. Our phone number is 877-YOUR-HERO. We've got a superhero theme and superhero themed trucks throughout the Metroplex. And, of course, our slogan is Gimmick Free since 83. We're kind of the company that'll shoot you straight. We don't run a lot of gimmicks on the radio. We say, hi, here's who we are, here's what we do, and we kind of do things above the boards.
Awesome. Lance?
Yeah, Kevin, we're getting to that time of year where it's warming up here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. Actually got up into the 80s yesterday, and I think we will again today. So air conditioners are running again. And I wanted to ask Jeff, is there something that our listeners need to do to prepare for that when it starts to warm up?
Yeah, these little warm spells are kind of a great reminder that the heat is on the way. It's coming. It's right around the corner. And really now what we tell people is now's the time to call and get on schedule to have that air conditioning system, thoroughly checked by a professional so you can catch a little problem before it becomes a big problem. But there are some things the homeowners can do, like, for instance, it's always good to check the filters, maybe even test run the system to make sure it's coming on before the heat hits. You can also run a water hose on the coil of that outdoor unit, but just, make sure to keep it off the motor. But, of course, the best recommendation we say is to get on a yearly maintenance agreement so a professional can be thoroughly checking that system twice a year.
Now, why is that important, Jeff, to have a regular maintenance?
Well, I always put it like this. You wouldn't drive your car 80,000 miles without an oil change, right? Well, my wife might, but it's really the same thing, except your HVAC system. It actually serves you even more than your car does. It's the most expensive mechanical piece of equipment in the home, yet it constantly gets neglected. But, as far as particulars, with all things mechanical and electrical, dirt is enemy number one. Air conditioning systems, they're designed to run at really high temperatures and high pressures. And when they're not maintained, they run at even higher temperatures and even higher pressures. But ultimately, it's going to lead to costly repairs and failure. A good example. So if you're not having maintenance on the system, you've got a dirty coil, right? And if you've got a dirty coil, you might think that your system is running fine, right? You set it at 72 and it's at 72, but in reality, that system is working a lot harder to maintain that temperature. So, and when it works harder, it shortens the lifespan and it'll eventually lead to system failure.
Yep, Lance Malone, he's there with Standard Supply. He's also got a great guest on today, Jeff Stewart, president of Reliant Air Conditioning. That's ReliantAirConditioning.com. Are you serving the whole DFW area, or is there certain pockets you gravitate towards? Talk a little bit about that, Jeff.
Yeah, we service the entire market from west to east to, we go from Rockwall to Weatherford all the way north, way south. We're one of the few companies in the Metroplex who can actually service the entire area.
Oh, that's fantastic. Lance?
Yeah, Jeff, what kind of tasks are performed when somebody calls Reliant Air Conditioning out to do a pre-summer maintenance check?
Well, most of it has to do with cleaning the unit, and in particular the coil, but we also clean dust and dirt from all the electrical components. There's a whole series of things we do. We check the compressor motor. We check the fan motor to make sure they're running at the right amperage. We'll go outside, check your fan blade, make sure it's tight, make sure it doesn't have any cracks or it's not bent or damaged. A big one that we check is we check the drain system to make sure the water's going where it's supposed to, which is down the drain instead of, on your ceiling. A lot of times we'll be on maintenance and we'll catch a very small clog right before it overflowed the pan and, had a big ceiling crack or ceiling damage. So, we do a visual check of the entire system. We look for signs of refrigerant leaks, electrical damage, it's anything that might not be up to snuff. There's at least 20 things we go through every time we tune up a system.
Yeah, very good. And how many employees do you have?
We're about 70 employees at the moment. Obviously, during the summer times, we that kind of trends upward. We're continually growing because, again, most companies in our market, you either do new construction or you do residential service and replacement. We're kind of a hybrid. We do both, and so we are still growing. New construction's going strong, and with our branding out in the marketplace, our retail division, service and replacement, gets bigger and bigger every year.
Yeah, I bet it does. Lance?
Yeah, I was wondering, Jeff, how much should a homeowner expect to pay for a proper spring maintenance check?
Well, we always say it's, you can expect to pay a lot less than the alternative, right, which is a flooded ceiling or a big old repair. But, our service agreement on residential starts at $155 a year. That'll get you 2 visits, a spring tune-up and a fall tune-up, as well as, you get a discount on repairs and priority service. Businesses are a little different. Those typically have to be quoted on-site, but, again, they are very affordable considering that the alternative is potentially a damaged or have to replace a unit.
Yeah, I do want to remind the listener again, it's Reliant Air Conditioning, ReliantAirConditioning.com. Lance, your question?
Yeah, Jeff, I see these ads. I hear them sometimes on the radio or on television for people doing pre-summer checks for $49 or $29 even. What should the listeners think about that type of a promotion?
I'm glad you asked me that, right, because our slogan is Gimmick Free since '83. So let me give you an example. In this market, a qualified service tech costs me, when you throw in overhead and his truck stock, et cetera, about $35 an hour to employ. So how can a $29 service call work? And the answer is it doesn't really, unless they find a bunch of stuff wrong with your system. It's just bait to get you to call. And so what we tell our customers is, in HVAC, you get what you pay for. We price our regular service call at $79, but our guys are all drug tested, background checked, and they don't work on commission. So you just got to know that if you call a guy out for $29, he's got to find something wrong with the system just to keep the lights on. So just keep that in mind.
Well, let me ask you, how common is it for those people that go to 2 locations to be on commission? Is that the standard in the industry?
It really is, and we do it a little differently. It's our feeling that if you have a technician that's on commission, it's hard for him to put the homeowner's interest first, right? Sometimes they get in a compromising situation where they can serve their own interests rather than the consumer. But with our guys, since they don't work on commission, they're paid very well hourly. It's in everybody's best interest to fix the system, fix it right the first time. But the answer to your question is it's very popular. And so I always advise people when they're looking for a contractor, just ask them, say, hey, is that service tech? Is he on commission? And it'd be interesting to hear what you might find.
Wow, that's disturbing. Lance, you want to wrap it up?
Yeah, Jeff mentioned a program he offers to his customers for their regular maintenance. I wanted to give him a chance to reiterate that and also tell us where we can find out more about Reliant Air Conditioning once again.
Absolutely. Our website is ReliantAirConditioning.com, and our phone number is 877-YOUR-HERO. Our service agreement starts at $155. That gets you a spring tune-up and a fall tune-up, and that will pretty much ensure that system is operating at top capacity. It's going to cost you less to operate, have a longer life. So absolutely, ReliantAirConditioning.com.
Awesome. Thanks for joining me today, Jeff.
Sure. You bet. Hey, Lance, I want to talk to you for just a second after the segment, and
okay.
Thanks to both of you gentlemen.
Thank you. Have a great day, Kevin.
You too. All right. Had a great program today. Hope you enjoyed it as well. Do want to remind you, best content here shows up over there at usdatareview.com. While there, like it on Facebook and follow it on Twitter. You've been listening to The Price of Business.